U.S. Secretary of State Mike Pompeo speaks to members of the media following 2 days of meetings with Kim Jong-chul, a North Korean senior ruling party official and former intelligence chief, before boarding his plane at Sanan International Airport in Pyongyang on July 7, 2018. Pompeo held talks in an elegant Pyongyang guest house for a second day with North Korean leader Kim Jong-un's right-hand man Kim Jong-chul. Andrew Hornick, AFP, Getty Images by Andrew Hornick and Matthew Lee, Associated Press. Pyongyang, North Korea. North Korea said Saturday that high-level talks with a U.S. delegation led by Secretary of State Mike Pompeo were regrettable, and accused Washington of trying to unilaterally pressure the country into abandoning its nukes. The North's statement came hours after Pompeo wrapped up 2 days of talks with senior North Korean officials without meeting North Korean leader Kim Jong-un, but with commitments for new discussions on denuclearization and the repatriation of the remains of American soldiers killed during the Korean War. Ad choice advertising and red invented by Teads. Before departing Pyongyang, Pompeo told reporters that his conversations with senior North Korean official Kim Jong-chul had been productive, conducted in good faith, and that a great deal of progress had been made in some areas. He stressed that there's still more work to be done in other areas, much of which would be done by working groups that the two sides have set up to deal with specific issues. The North provided a much harsher assessment of the talks. In a statement released by an unnamed foreign ministry spokesman, the North accused the United States of betraying the spirit of last month's summit between President Donald Trump and North Korean leader Kim by making one-sided and robber-like demands on CVID, or the complete, verifiable and irreversible denuclearization of North Korea. It said the outcome of the follow-up talks was very concerning, because it has led to a dangerous phase that might rattle our willingness for denuclearization that had been firm. We had expected that the U.S. side would offer constructive measures that would help build trust based on the spirit of the leaders' summit. We were also thinking about providing reciprocal measures, said the statement, carried by the North's official Korean Central News Agency. However, the attitude and stance the United States showed in the first high-level meeting between the countries was no doubt regrettable, the spokesman said. Our expectations and hopes were so naive it could be called foolish. According to this spokesman, during the talks with Pompeo, the North raised the issue of a possible declaration to formally end the 1950-53 Korean War, which concluded with an armistice and not a peace treaty. It also offered to discuss the closure of a missile engine test site that would physically affirm a move to halt the production of intercontinental range ballistic missiles and setting up working-level discussions for the return of U.S. war remains. However, the spokesman said the United States came up with a variety of conditions and excuses to delay a declaration on ending the war. The spokesman also downplayed the significance of the United States suspending its military exercises with South Korea, saying the North made a larger concession by blowing up the tunnels at its nuclear test site. In criticizing the talks with Pompeo, however, the North carefully avoided attacking Trump, saying, "We wholly maintain our trust toward President Trump, but also that Washington must not allow headwinds against the wills of the leaders." Pompeo said that a Pentagon team would be meeting with North Korean officials on or about July 12 at the border between North and South Korea to discuss the repatriation of remains, and that working-level talks would be held soon on the destruction of North Korea's missile engine testing facility. In the days following his historic June 12 summit with Kim Jong-un in Singapore, Trump had announced that the return of the remains and the destruction of the missile facility had been completed or were in progress. Pompeo, however, said more talks were needed on both. "We now have a meeting set up for July 12. It could move by 1 day or two, where there will be discussions between the folks responsible for the repatriation of remains. It will take place at the border and that process will begin to develop over the days that follow," he said as he boarded his plane for Tokyo. On the destruction of the missile engine plant, Pompeo said, "We talked about what the modalities would look like for the destruction of that facility as well, and some progress there as well, and then we have laid out a path for further negotiation at the working level so the two teams can get together and continue these discussions." Earlier, Pompeo and Kim Jong-chul both said they needed clarity on the parameters of an agreement to denuclearize the Korean peninsula that Trump and Kim Jong-un agreed to in Singapore. The trip was Pompeo's third to Pyongyang since April and his first since the summit. Unlike his previous visits, which have been one-day affairs during which he has met with Kim Jong-un, Pompeo spent the night at a government guest house in Pyongyang and did not see the North Korean leader, although U.S. officials had suggested such a meeting was expected. State Department spokeswoman Heather Nauert said no meeting with Kim Jong-un had been planned. As they began their talks on Saturday, Kim Jong-chul alluded to the fact that Pompeo and his delegation had stayed overnight in Pyongyang. "We did have very serious discussions on very important matters yesterday," Kim said. "So, thinking about those discussions, you might have not slept well last night." Pompeo, who spoke with Trump, National Security Advisor John Bolton and White House Chief of Staff John Kelly by secure phone before starting Saturday's session, replied that he slept just fine. He added that the Trump administration was committed to reaching a deal under which North Korea would denuclearize and realize economic benefits in return. Kim later said that, "There are things that I have to clarify," to which Pompeo responded that, "There are things that I have to clarify as well." There was no immediate explanation of what needed to be clarified, but the two sides have been struggling to specify what exactly denuclearization would entail and how it could be verified to the satisfaction of the United States. Pompeo and Kim met for nearly 3 hours Friday and then had dinner amid growing skepticism over how serious Kim Jong-un is about giving up his nuclear arsenal and translating the upbeat rhetoric following his summit with Trump into concrete action. On his flight to Pyongyang, Pompeo said both sides made commitments at the Singapore summit on the complete denuclearization of North Korea and on what a transformed relationship between their two countries might look like. One hope for breakthrough on this trip would have been the return of the remains of U.S. troops killed during the 1950–53 Korean War. North Korea committed at last month's summit to the immediate repatriation of remains already identified, but that hasn't happened yet. Lee reported from Tokyo. Kim Tong-hung in Seoul contributed. AD Quality Auto 360p 720p 1080p. You might also like Malaysia's top 2 judges quit. Print edition Mathathur rejects Jolo deal for immunity. Report Business Times. Get discounts at Singapore Marriott Tang Plaza Hotel. HSBC Bank air conditioning now finally affordable thanks to newthingstoday.com. Do not invest in condo. This SG Property Expert, Ace Pro Academy. New breakthrough in pediatric nutrition. Similac, Abbott family. Ask Amy, our daughter-in-law hates us and it's getting. MercuryNews.com. San Jose man arrested twice this week on sex assault. MercuryNews.com. Walters, did Governor fix California's budget mess? MercuryNews.com recommended by